So, water rescue. The likelihood you're going to use it is if we're dispatched to like Long Island Sound and there's someone falling off a boat, or you're a beach club. So if you think about it, if they're at a beach club and they have lifeguards, the guards will probably have already backboarded the patient. But in that random case that you actually do need to rescue somebody out of the water, we're going to teach you how. So the first thing is, if you find somebody who hits the bottom of the pool and is like completely conscious, they'll probably be like waiting in the water. But I don't know how the new backboard adjustments are going to work for in the water spinal immobilization. But usually, Steven, can you blow on your back for me? Like an easy way is just to take their arms and immobilize their head, squeezing their arms together. If they're completely, if they're completely conscious.
It's hard not to laugh when you're in the water.
If you're at a pool, I highly recommend asking lifeguard if they have those like red lifeguard flotation devices, because a person's not gonna float completely straight, like willingly. They'll end up, part of their body will end up sinking, and that's especially necessary when you have an unconscious victim. So, does anyone know what the dead man's float is?
Oh, it's like this. Yes, it's on your.
Yeah, so like the dead man's float, when like they're floating and their heads in the water and you only see the tops of their shoulders. So that means like they're unconscious in the water. So the first thing is you're gonna have to hold their C-spine if no one knows what happened, because you have to assume the worst and assume they hit their head on something and went unconscious. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one arm and put it in the front of them, and take your other arm and have it on the back. But they're underneath you, so they're not breathing because their head's in the water, so you're gonna have to flip them. So once you position your arms around them, you're gonna move them underneath the water and flip them. So I'll demonstrate. Steven, would you like to act it?
Of course.
So I'm holding him like this, and I'm gonna go underneath the water, so under him. And this way I'm still holding C-spine. So that's how you're gonna hold C-spine on them. That was unnecessary. Okay. So that's how you're gonna hold C-spine on them. But I highly recommend that you need those lifeguard like flotation devices or something to hold him up, because as you saw, I was holding up his upper body, but the rest of his legs were falling deeper and deeper into the pool, which is going to make it really difficult to get them onto the backboard. So our backboards float, which is really nice. So something that you might be wondering is how we're going to put a seat collar on them. The most important thing is getting them out of the water, because you can't really do anything to them while they're on the backboard. So what you're going to do is you're going to obviously bring their head back up into the air so they're breathing, and then you're going to get them onto the backboard. You're putting 3 straps on them, and then you're taking them out of the pool, where then you can apply a seat collar and do a headbed if necessary, but also they've been unresponsive with their head in the water for a long period of time. You're probably going to have to perform CPR on them. So, will you like hold C-spine on him like you just saved him? Okay, so like I keep saying, there would be something holding his legs up. So I guess Sydney's going to pretend that something's holding his legs up. But if you notice, the backboard goes underneath the water with a little bit of force. So what you're going to do is taking the back end of the backboard, you're going to push it underneath the water and move it underneath him. So he's floating on the backboard. And then whoever is just going to take over, Steven, you can put your head down. Who's ever taking over will take over C-spine. Then it will be Sydney's job to take 3 straps. So obviously you're not going to do your classic backboard straps where you do shoulder to hip, hip to leg, hip to leg. You're just going to do one over the chest, one over the waist, and one over the feet. And then I guess I'll verbalize this part, and then we'll have to have strong people help us. But you would have someone outside of the water that would help you lift them on to flat surface. So you are going to bring his head to the end of the pool, and 2 people are going to take each side of it. And lifting up his legs so he's at an angle, 2 people are just going to pull him out of the water. And then you'll just continue your assessments from there. So obviously if his head is in the water, he's going to be unconscious most likely if he's been there for a while and not breathing. So it's your job again to assess a pulse, see if he's breathing, and decide whether you need to start CPR. Unless it was like before and you could hold his head in front of him and hold his C-spine, you would do the same thing, put the backboard underneath him and put the straps on him and get him out of the water. It's kind of difficult just because, let's say he was in the deep end, you'd be treading water the entire time. So you're not going to have the luxury of standing and putting the backboard underneath him. You can use a flotation device like those things, the red things, to try and help you up. But your biggest concern is getting him out of the water as quickly as possible. So if anyone wants to get in the water and practice flipping underneath them, it looks really simple, but if you don't get the hand motions right, you're going to end up pushing him under and just mixing your hands up and getting stuck. So do that happen?
And by anyone, Emma meant everyone, so start taking your stuff off and getting in.